In discussing the impact of mass media, the concept of intimization refers to the exposure of intimate aspects of an individual's personal life to the public. This phenomenon is primarily observed in a societal context, specifically in politics, though it can also apply to other areas. Notably, Lisbeth van Zonen coined intimization during the 1980s in her analysis of Dutch TV news, where she noticed the shift of private values into public spaces. This shift was evident in the growing attention given to human interest subjects and the building of connections between audiences and newsreaders through selected personalities and intimate communication styles. Furthermore, Hardman and his colleagues used intimization in their research on alterations in Swedish journalism since the 1880s, proposing that it reflected an escalated emphasis on the private, encompassing family, sexuality, and the intimate sphere. Contrary to the public sphere, they believed this pseudo-intimacy aspect emerged from the interplay of communication modes, source relations, visual depictions, and text focus. While privatization has been used to communicate this process, its usage is problematic as it inherently means making public assets private, the exact opposite of making private matters public. Rahat and Schieffer used privatization to describe the media focus on individual candidates' personal life and characteristics, a definition that aligns with intimization. However, Stanier points out that intimization should be primarily linked to the formation and distribution of media content in a society rather than social or telemediated intimacy between audiences and on-screen figures. Stanier notes that while the audience's role is crucial, the real importance lies in the information and images the audience is exposed to. Thus, intimization involves the broad dissemination of personal or private information about public figures as opposed to their public professional life, leading to audience exposure to private matters that would usually only be shared in close relationships. The distinction between familiarity and intimacy is crucial in this respect. The third realm engages with an individual's personal sphere, encompassing their home and events and locations outside of their home, where the individual is not performing a public function and would desire privacy. For instance, during family vacation, Stanier elaborates that intimization involves the unveiling and publicity of information imagery from these three realms. Public figures' personal details can invade the public discourse with or without consent, whether they portray an infraction of societal norms, scandalous or not. Non-scandalous, talk show self-disclosures or autobiographies, later reiterated in the media, are examples of scandalous publicization. On the other hand, unauthorized paparazzi photos of off-duty politicians, like those that expose an extramarital affair, exemplify non-scandalous disclosures. In essence, intimization is envisioning a societal-wide disclosure process. This process reveals information and imagery from the various realms of public figures' personal lives, given with or without the specific individual's consent. The rising exposure of public figures' private lives has been regularly discussed, yet it lacks systematic examination. Mixed outcomes have been discovered. Herrera examined the private life coverage of French politicians in Paris Match and Vesti magazines over a 7-year span from 1999 to 1997. She saw that issues pertaining to their relationships, health, family life, finances, and past life, especially involving eminent French politicians such as Jacques Chirac and François Mitterrand, led the magazine coverage. Langer's study on newspaper articles referencing UK national leaders' personal lives detected a clear escalating trend. From 1945's 1 ratio, private life coverage surged to 8D during Tony Blair's reign in 2007. In a later study, 2007-2008, this coverage tilted more towards opposition leader David Cameron and less towards Prime Minister Gordon Brown. This indicated how certain leaders' private lives could pique the public interest. Contrastingly, Rahat and Schieffer's analysis of election coverage in 2 major Israeli newspapers, spanning 16 campaigns from 1949-2003, did not detect any significant trend in the media coverage of candidates' personal lives. In this case, personal life coverage never surpassed 15 of news items over time.